Hello. This will forever be known as the experimental stream, because loads of things seem to be going wrong because I'm messing with the tech in little tiny ways in the background. But never mind, we're here now. Shan't be able to do as long as I'd hoped, but never mind. Let's just get straight to it. Karen, me old mucker, how's it?
So what God's forsaken corner of the realm is Sid dragging you off to this time?
Okay, I'm good. Thank you.
The Holy Capital. And what business would you lot having? On second thoughts, I don't want to know.
Of course you don't. What have we got here then? Flame tongue, well better than that, Karen. Oh, dark sash, no, I'm doing better than that. Oh, battle change, you say? No. 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 No, 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 no. No, no, no.
I reckon I can find a buyer.
I reckon so, yeah. Not anything to sell, bloody-eyed. No.
Speaking of Oriflamme, I hear the trading routes leading south have seen more than double the usual traffic. If you ask me, somewhat foul's brewing. And it ain't as borbile tea. Oh, just go and see Otto, will ya?
All right.
If you say so. But Torgal, he knows where to get food here. Little devil. Yeah, I've done all my little
Otto barking at his lot earlier.
Otto, me old sunshine. What's going on in Lollipop?
So you're really going through with it? Sid's been talking about bringing down a Mothercrystal since I've known him. But that's all it's ever been. Talk.
Well, I'm here now.
He's convinced it's the right thing to do.
Just throw
we'll be leaving for the
right
capital
out.
shortly.
Well, you couldn't have picked a better moment. Seems the hiding the Royalists gave him wasn't enough to dampen old Sylvester's spirits. His legions are on the march again. This time, due south.
Another war.
All as the great Grieger
Guess they went through with it then.
Bloodthirsty.
The Emperor wills this and all that.
That's God's for you, innit? Still, might work to our advantage
Keep
on
an eye
this
on some of
occasion.
the stats.
Wars,
It's all gone a
greed,
bit
chaos
funky.
on the front lines and at home. With a fair wind behind them, a handful of like-minded ne'er-do-wells could melt into the back alleys of Oriflamme. No trouble. It's making it to the capital that's the problem.
The checkpoint.
That's right. Anyone travelling in or out of Oriflamme
You've got a big dirty
has
mark
to
on
go
your
through
face.
Northreach. Lucky for you, I might just know of a way.
To reach the north.
Yes.
Well, no, not that. That gets you an audience with the Dame. And it's the Dame who'll see you safely through Northreach. I'll send a Stolas in the morning. Let her
As
know
long
you're
as I
coming.
do something for
We
the
go way back.
Dame.
And she's a true friend of the cause.
You scratch my back,
I'm sure you'll get on like a
suck you
house
up.
on fire.
I've been there.
That's good of you, but who is this dame, and where will I
I tell
find
you
her?
what, it's a difficult position once
She's
you're
the
in the middle
proud
of scratching my
proprietress
back.
of Northreach's foremost
impressive.
house of ill repute, the Vale. And she's quite a woman, if you know what I mean.
A woman. Right.
Don't go blinding her with your charm now, lad. I'll be expecting a
He's
full
one-dimensional, but in a
report when you
fantastic
get
way.
back.
Woman. Who's this? Lion reports unlocked. What's going on? Oh. Alliant reports are now available for viewing by speaking to Gout at the Alliant report counter in the Hideaway's mess. He can't walk very well, but he knows his stuff. These reports, compiled by the Curse Breakers, contain information on quests currently available across Valastia.
I suppose that's everything. Now to find Gav.
Braegun Central. What are you then?
Oh, you're the new lad, aren't you? Goat
Yes, mate,
at your
yes, mate.
service.
Goat?
Well, at the Hideaway service, anyway.
It's worse than Gout.
Otto's put me in charge of reading through the reports sent in by our allies and picking out any problems that might warrant the attention of the Curse Breakers. Or
Oh, the
any
Curse
other
Breakers.
willing
Do we know? It doesn't tell us that, does it? Sister's flawed.
And there's no shortage of problems, I can tell you. Well, maybe I don't have to. I'll warrant a strapping lad like you's got people begging him for help wherever you go. Anyway, if you're ever interested in taking a look over the list, just say the word.
Is this now centralisation?
Reckon you could probably tick off the odd thing here and there. They say little acts of kindness are their own reward. But if that ain't enough, these have got proper bounties on them and all.
Well, why didn't you say so? Let me ask about Gorge.
Me?
Oh, I forget the wrong. Me? I do what Otto tells me. Suppose you could say I'm his right-hand man. He's a hard master. Not nearly as hard as my old one was. When that man beat me bloody and threw me out onto the streets to die, it was after he found me and took me in.
The way I see it,
I owe him, and so I help him look after the ledgers, as well as reading through all the reports coming in from our allies across the Twins. And if it turns out someone out there needs help, I'll make a note so I can point any willing volunteers in the right direction.
so, what'd you say?
Are you willing? There's no surer way of turning Otto's frown a little less frowny. I bet you know of a surer way, go, you dirty bastards.
Quick look.
Exactly. Look, he's at it again. Use go to light reports to not only find new quests around Valisthea, but also travel immediately to the obelisk waypoint nearest their location. So we've got some in the Holy Empire of Sambrick. We've got this in the Imperial Province of Rosaria. What's going on? Boop, 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 boop. Well, let's just tuck in. You there! Alarm!
Ah, you're Sid's man, if I'm not mistaken. Couldn't trouble you for some assistance, could I?
That depends. What do you need?
Some new bearers from
few
Oriflamme
response.
just arrived, and it cost
Oriflamme,
Master
shit.
Quinton a pretty penny to convince their owner to part with them. Man must have been a bloody tyrant. Can't get a peep out of them, try as I might.
They're probably
People
terrified
talk.
of you.
You're probably right. Dare say it'd take a bearer like yourself to open them up.
So what do you want?
Will you have a word with them? Help them settle in?
They can
I can try.
That'll do me.
He's such
Tell them
a
they're
good
safe,
orator
and
as
if
our
they need
Clive.
anything,
Perfect
they
for this
just have
job.
to ask.
I'll let them know.
You're safe. If you need anything,
Appreciate
just
it.
ask.
They're sitting
Told
over
them.
there, taking a long overdue breather, looks
Look
like.
at it. I will prioritize your quest giver. I go. Right. Exhausted bearer.
So you're the new arrivals. Is there anything I can get you? You're safe here. They don't punish people like us for speaking our minds.
Truly,
No.
I'm hungry. My sister too, we're starving.
Wait here.
What? Is that?
I'll fetch you something from the tavern.
Thank you.
I won't be long. You stay here and rest.
Well, ain't that just lovely? Speak with someone at the inn about a meal. What? Who's a meal?
That'll be enough.
Why is he getting involved?
But how did the grocer know his dog? Sun's setting fast.
Oh,
Can I have
Excuse me.
another cup, Daddy?
I'll have 2 plates of whatever you're serving.
Sorry. We've enough mouths of our own to feed without tending to the wants of outsiders.
they're lovely
It's
here.
not for me. It's for some new arrivals.
Oh,
Well, I've got
my
to come with
apologies. I didn't see the mark. So you're a comrade. Well, in that case, you may have whatever you require. Take all the bread and wine you want.
Bread
That's
and
really
wine,
all it
bread and
takes.
wine.
One look at the innkeeper's mark.
Of course it is. I do as Master Quinton commands, as do we all.
As do we all.
And Master Quinton
Why not
commands
say
none
it?
of his favoured guests be left wanting. Well, don't keep our new comrades waiting. Take what you need and see that they eat their fill.
Well, I've never understood that. I'm sure it was maybe... Was it sweeter or something when it was in the ancient days? Let's just say.
Bread and wine.
Just eating bread.
Hopefully this will be enough.
If they're starving, let's just be happy with what you give. If they're not, beat them bloody. I don't think I'm really learning the lessons of this segregation thing that they've done.
Did you see?
No.
Here. Bread and wine from the tavern.
While the loaf is slightly stale and the wine somewhat watered down, it will serve to fill an empty belly. But just the one. The two of you must fight to the death to see who lives.
May we? Truly?
Madly, truly, deeply. Truly scrumptious. This bread is crunchy and scrumptious. See the crunch on that? It's all crust.
Such plenty. Never in all my days.
Brother, this place is like a dream. We sat and no one shouted. We ate and more was offered.
I know. I can't believe it.
You're free now.
Now dance.
And the next time you're hungry, you need only ask to be fed.
Thank you for everything. Thank you.
What a welcoming committee Clive is. Level up, level up, level up. Oh, I've got a gill bug. I've got that gill bug. It's just what George Marker was singing about. You got the gill bug. Got the gill bug. You put the gill into my pocket. Ah, this is open now. Let me in, let me in. It's very dark. Hello?
Master Quinton will never forgive me if I don't save that crop.
When did you get here? Here's a meal.
I want no trouble. Wait, that's... Oh, glory to Griga. You were the hanged man. I took you for a rogue. If you're a friend of Master Quinton's, then perhaps you'll help me. His vineyard, Lostwing's pride and joy, has been beset by a plague of giant wasps.
And you need someone to solve your pest problem.
I do indeed. I've never seen them so far from the forest, nor so mean for that matter. I suppose the smell's got them worked up. And little wonder. This'll be the finest crop we've ever known if the fiends don't eat it first. I tried chasing them off myself, but they won't flee from the likes of me. And if I don't bring those grapes in for pressing soon, Master Quinton will have my guts for garters.
Guts for garters, you say?
You look like you can handle that blade of yours. Will you put it to use for a comrade in need? Please.
Oh,
rid us of these wasps so I can be about my business.
Made in the meal, Joe. And there's a meal?
All right. I'll see to it.
Oh, thank you. You'll find them over at Gotan's Bales on the edge of town. And hurry, Lostwing needs those grapes.
I will prioritize your quest giver. A meal? Ah, it is absolutely hilarious. What is this? The mysteries of vinification. While some wine makers will remove the skins of the grape after pressing, leaving both skin and seeds in the juice to commingle creates a must that is better suited for extended aging, ultimately resulting in a more refined wine. Then, once the wine calms and settles sufficiently, the skins are removed, and the must is then transferred to wooden barrels of oak or chestnut, which, by allowing air to leach into the wine, impart deepened levels of complexity, introducing rich aromas and improving texture, all while lessening bitterness. How do they figure all this out, like, in real life, you know what I mean? Like, God bless them for doing it, because... Oh, alcohol's fantastic. going a few weeks without it at the moment, which is why it's all I'm thinking about. Nothing. All I'm thinking about is Final Fantasy 16. I'm so excited I can't even say it. Yeah, I'm thinking about this all day. I'm gonna play till 9 o'clock, so it's a couple more hours. Jump off for a bit. Maybe play a bit more after. It's about 10. You're alive. I tried jogging like this, and it's just terrible for the conservation.
That must be the vineyard. A few wasps shouldn't give me too much trouble.
Oh, I'm gonna die. Turn into Ifrit, it's the only way. Level 21, Vintana Wasps! Ah, you're up in that way, you little buggy. It's over. Ta-da! That's the stuff.
Keep your distance, boy. Stay down.
Use 2 stone potions, but I don't look at my potion. You can't see it this time. So actually, you'd never have known about the foolishness I just underwent. Yep. It's good to share one's troubles. Get away!
It's over. Give them all you've got.
Flying dog trick. Oldest trick in the book, you stupid bastard. I can't read.
Get him, boy. Don't let them get away. There,
Get him
boy.
again. I wanted Torgal to finish him off. I wanted him to feel good today.
Looks like that was the last of them. I better let Quentin's man know.
Yeah, we did. Apparently, I have 10 notifications off, but I unlocked a trophy for petting him 5 times. I bet there's one for doing it 1,000, isn't there? Come here, dog. Come on! Why are we bringing a meal into this? And it's about wine as well. It's, ugh. Fabulousness of life, eh? I keep going on about how good this soundtrack is, but I decided to wait till I finish the game. I can treat myself to listening to it. Really in context. Like if there's some epic music that comes up, I don't want it to be spoiled out of context. To enjoy it in the scenario for which it was composed.
Those wasps won't be interfering with your harvest anymore.
Oh, thank you. Master Quentin would have had my head if I'd lost the crop. I'd say you've earned a reward. Our Gotan Rouge fetches a handsome price among the rich and powerful of the realm. We use that money to keep our comrades fed and imperial wolves from our door. The vineyards were Master Quentin's idea. He wanted to give bearers a place to work, a place where they'd be safe.
Yeah, so I just watched Eastpool get burned to the ground.
He certainly seems to have done that here.
Oh, I'm feeling this all in Eastpool. I didn't look one of the scarecrows around past looks exactly like Vivi from
And once this vintage is ripe for drinking,
apparently.
There'll be a glass or two raised in your honour.
Twitter or something. Blood can be traded for gift. Before. Very good. We also, yeah, so you can go to that, but you can also just come here and you'll see that there's a quests to go and do. I like it. I like it a lot. Hello. Chicken!
The tavern. It's done. I've seen your face before. You're a friend of Martha's. Help us, I beg you.
Help you with what?
Bandits in the Golden Stables. They're waving their swords around. I think they're going to kill someone.
A tiger?
When I saw what was happening, I slipped out the back. I should have stayed, but oh, please help them.
No. Oh,
All right.
I'll
see to your problem.
Thank you.
How many were there?
Yeah. Well,
I was out of the door too fast to count. They looked a nasty bunch, though. Be careful in there, all right?
I will prioritize your quest giver. Chicken with me.
Ha! Golden Stables, my ass. All Martha's hiding back here is coppers.
Oh, speaking of the coppers, sapping them bitches.
Oh, that's a fine sword, friend. Heavy, though, I expect. What say we relieve you
Shades
of
it ridiculously easily.
Get him, guys. We want that plate.
How about I just made this?
Let's get that over with.
Right in the arse. At least you felt pleasure before the pain. Is that it? 2 bandits?
I'll be keeping my blade, thank you.
Perhaps work better before the dead.
There he is, the hero of the Golden Stables.
You give
People
that a
think
title.
twice about pushing us around again, thanks to you. We're lucky you were nearby.
I wasn't. I just heard your cry for help
Cowards wouldn't
from
have
another
dared set foot in
part
the
of
place if I'd been here, of course.
But you weren't. I thought you told me you had someone watching the place.
The Blood Axes keep an eye on the tavern, yeah. When they're
Well,
not
they did a
busy
shit
keeping the
job.
peace, that is. I've spread them as thin as they'll go. The Empire might be in charge, but that don't mean they care to keep us safe. If it weren't for the Blood Axes and me, merchants won't come near these lands for fear of what might happen to them.
I see. Then you do Rosaria a great service.
Just as you did today. You're a useful man to have around.
Flame
Yeah.
with me. I'm only slightly interested.
And there'll be a mug of something tasty waiting for you whenever you next stop by.
And you.
Right, we've got work to do for to make this place presentable. You best be going before I arm you with a mop.
Oh yeah, the mop of blood. I bathe in it. Where's he by then?
There he is, the man of the hour.
Yeah, well, where were you, dickhead? Back to the Hideaway. Ah! Sorry, just a slight detour there, Gav. I'm back now.
Well, 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 someone's in a hurry.
Just following orders.
Funny, I never took you for the type.
Can't all be as obedient as you, Gav.
Eh?
Fine day for a little mischief, wouldn't you say?
Mischief?
Is this all of us?
Actually, Gav won't be coming.
Just
First
the
easy
three of
on
us,
that
then.
one.
Drake said is the keystone of the Empire. Oriflamme's in chaos, yes, but that doesn't mean we can march an army through her gates. The fewer our numbers, the better our chances of going unnoticed.
And that one bloke would scupper the whole
And
thing.
should that plan fail, well, we have our icons to fall back on.
Sid,
And you're just a little
I don't know
bitch.
if I can. Ifrit still seems to come and go as he pleases.
Ordinarily,
Typical man.
priming an icon comes naturally to a dominance. But then, you are no ordinary dominance.
Well, he's still got the blessing of the Phoenix, doesn't he?
Not to mention what he sucked out of Garuda.
I beg your pardon.
And did I ever tell you about how he was once the greatest shield in Rosaria? You know, I reckon he could probably cut us a path out of the capital on his own if need be.
Probably could, yeah.
Let's
We
try
just
not to
left the
find out.
gameplay like that, apparently.
We're less likely to be spotted if we travel separately. I'll meet you in Northreach in a few days.
Yes, ma'am.
You two behave now.
Then him and Jill still haven't had more than like 5 sentences. Good Torgal. Legend. Going to Lostwing. Ah, one of those paths have opened up, have they?
So, we're meeting in Northreach. But will I find Sid and Jill before this day?
Oh. Why did you plop me here? I guess we'll never know what Clive said. Whee! Just Torgers.
Don't let them get away.
Oh. Hello. Alright, Torgal, we did it. We destroyed them and it was a wonderful time we had. What good's done now? You just need to chill out, lad. Yes, this gate was closed. No, it is not. That of you. I'm not going to run around it because there's not really much impetus to do so. Oh, very nice and big.
Northreach. The soldiers used to speak of a brothel. But that was north of the checkpoint.
Come on,
the
Clive,
Dame has
keep
friends
on.
in the south.
Well, there she is. Oh! Big little shortcut opens up there. Lovely little obelisk. Now, what are you doing, my little obelisk?
A moment. I doubt you could afford even that much of my time. Branded.
My mistake.
No, mine. Upon reflection, you don't have the scent of a branded about you. The flowers. Otto always did know how to please me. More than Sid ever did anyway.
Forgot about the
Do you think
fragrant
you
box.
could please me, Clive?
Don't say it.
You're the Dame.
Let us leave such impersonal titles to my less preferred clientele.
Call me Slutty J.
You can call me Isabel. Otto assured me I could trust you. I can trust you, can't I?
No.
You can trust me, yes, but...
Why would you?
Why would you?
Help you? Because that's what we do.
We help men.
Long ago, Sid
their
did me a
end.
kindness when no one else would.
Reciprocal.
I have never forgotten that.
Doesn't happen much in your line of work.
Without it, I would not be where I am today. And so, I make it a point to do the same whenever possible.
You've got really shiny hair.
Which brings us here.
Nice.
To the final obstacle between you and whatever it is you seek in the holy capital. I fear the guards are not likely to let a masterless bearer pass unmolested. Unless...
Good.
Unless...
Unless,
your
of
knees,
course,
bitch.
his master deigned to appear. Yes, that will do nicely. But I shall expect a favor in
See,
return.
she's the dominant in this relationship.
What?
Just take your cock out and walk. forward, will you?
However do they get that colour?
The balls trapped a bit of ice.
Buy something or not?
Look at that chocobo's ass. Say what you see, Roy. Say what you see. Or Stephen these days. Merchant.
What the hell are you doing?
Tut tut. We cannot have people thinking I tolerate disobedience from my branded.
No.
The men who gave me this are no more my masters than you are.
Mulhen.
It's not as if I can hide it.
From the moment you acquired it, that brand has done naught but take. But today, it is going to give you exactly what you want.
Why would you let me sit
Just
on
play
this?
along.
Fuck. You know, there's moments where you just like, you did not
Mother.
think of that before you said it.
Back to the Vale already?
But of course, we must make ready to welcome you, my dear.
And who might this be?
Why, my new escort. The streets aren't safe for a girl, what with all the royalists about.
Well, don't work him too hard.
Well, that rather depends on you now, doesn't it? I'll see you all at sunset.
Oi, hold up. Another fucking branded. Well, you're lucky you're with the dame. Now get out of my sight, filth.
I will. You literally just let a man go through who's about to destroy your mother crystal.
That wasn't
And that's
so
not
bad.
a euphemism.
Wasn't so bad. They might have recognized me.
Branded, no
But
one
they
gives a
didn't.
shit.
And even if they had, they wouldn't have done anything about it. The gentlemen of the garrison are some of my best customers. We have an arrangement.
I
As do
fuck
you
'em.
and I. Now,
That's
if you
it.
care to follow me, we can speak more at the Vale.
Also, how much now do we want to see Stephen Merchant doing?
Doesn't seem like I have much of a choice.
Family fortunes. I can't speak, I can't trade. My new petition. What's all going on, isn't it? Oh, I missed a shop. Never mind. Hello. Destination nearby.
And if anyone requests her company, tell them she is feeling unwell.
Madame, you look stunning.
As do you, my dear.
Shall I have one of the girls draw a bath?
That won't be necessary.
I prefer paintings.
Clive, my darling. Welcome to the Vale.
Wow! Amazing! Slutterbell, I can't remember your name. Isabel, is it?
Thank you for seeing me through the gates, my lady. I am in your debt.
Well, that was the
You
whole
changed your
point,
tune.
wasn't it? And I told you, it's Isabel. Whatever
no
wound you
one's
so
lady, bitch.
tight, I wonder. It's certainly not Sid's influence.
Years of holding my home with
mentioned a
sexual
favor.
urges.
What is it you'd have me do?
This is how
I
we did.
don't want to keep my companions waiting.
If you mean Sid and the girl, you needn't worry. They have yet to reach the checkpoint. Yes, Otto asked me
It's
to
a very
help
different
them
character
as
in
well.
Clive, I suppose.
But to answer your question, I need you to find someone for me. One of my girls. Tatienne has been gone for several days now, having left no word of explanation. And I've begun to fear the worst.
I feel as if I've spent my whole life searching for people. Though I can't say I'm any good at it.
I
You
trust
found
you
or
do
killed
your
most of them.
best. Oh, and take
The
this.
hooded bloke keeps eluding you, despite the fact he's like always right in front of you. I accept the moon and stars from Isabel.
And
Like a
hopefully enough to
song.
keep prying eyes from looking too closely at that handsome face of yours. Now, I have matters to attend to at the Iron Flagon. If you find anything, ask for me there.
I will prioritize your quest giver. I love this fact. Quest giver still the Dame, just ignore. She was asked before Isabel's like, no. You're barely even human to me, and I'm branded. Ooh, we've got a couple of thingies, have we? Side quests. Thingies will do.
Well then, I suppose you're ready.
Aye. How about syphilis? How do I get there? Oh, riddles. Riddles aplenty. You there? How do I get there? Ah! I have to go up these
Heard
stairs
the
and
bones
take a
fell
look.
favourably. To the Vale, then.
How do I get up there? Excuse me, how do I get up there to the pairs with the cyclist? Oh, it's you!
I don't know how a bearer came by the moon and stars, but thank goodness I found you. Can I trust you to be discreet?
About what?
About this. About what I wish to ask of you. About the fact that I, a humble creature, assist the Dame of the Vale in her
He's a sub.
endeavours. As
And if
unlikely
you
as it
want
may
to sub,
seem,
links
there are
down below
those
the
within the
stream.
upper echelons of
Not like
Samboqua
that.
society who find the Empire's treatment of bearers to be barbaric.
All right. But what do you want from me?
This town is carried upon the backs of its bearers.
Isn't like the
And
entire
yet many
nation
would
has
see their
went to.
servants starve. Not for the want of coin, simple fare cost little more than a pittance, but to revel in the suffering of others. A simple act of cruelty.
Garden for you.
Contemptible though it is, my countrymen would sooner cut off their noses to spite their faces than see their bearers fed. And despite my best attempts at secrecy, my efforts to dole out comestibles have been noticed.
Comestibles?
Brings me to my request.
They do shove in the
The
odd word
brand
that's
upon
just
your
like,
cheek
you're just trying to
affords you a
ask.
certain freedom. A freedom I could sorely use.
What freedom? Irony this. Fine, fine.
Fine. What do you need me to do?
Oh, thank you. An extra meal may not seem like much, but it will make all the difference. Here,
Oh, I just think it would go
deliver
like
these,
this.
but keep them hidden. Quickly now. What food I can provide goes where the need is greatest. And today, that happens to be the barracks. 3 bearers, overworked and underfed, not permitted a moment's rest.
It's no wonder so many die before their time.
Tragic, true, but do not let anger make you careless. People will view this act of mercy as an undermining of the Empire's authority.
Well, good.
Be
You're trying to bring
discreet
down
for
the
both our
Empire.
sakes, and for the sake of those we feed. Oh, and when you're finished, a word in the ear of one of the Dame's girls would be appreciated.
You won't be staying then?
I'm afraid not. I'm expected back in the capital, and have already risked much speaking with you this long.
Oh, definitely gonna. I'll prioritize your quest giver. I'm gonna find his head on a spike by the time we get to the capital.
Crystal's
because of
curse
that.
is bad enough. We can't let people starve as well.
I mean,
Heard
we
the
could.
bones fell favourably.
The bones felt favourable.
Are you waiting for it to heal on its own? Hurry up!
Looks like now's not the time.
Taking my time.
You look like you need a rest.
Oh. Food prepared by Meteo for 3 overworked and underfed bearers employed in the North Reach Garrison.
Not half as much as I need this. Thank you. I don't eat it here, though. Not where anyone might see.
Has it always been this bad?
Oh, it was worse before the Chamberlain. I'd be dead without him. Me and many others. That's something at least.
You work them to petrified death to dry some linen. Terrible. Buy this one over here then.
It's not been half a moon since Bellin.
Deliver the comestibles to the birders. I've never delivered comestibles before. Wait a minute. I'm overreach. You. Hello.
I have something for you.
It's a comestible. Have you had your comestibles
From the
today? You need
Chamberlain.
3 square comestibles.
Thank you.
Everyone says this.
You need to leave. Now. Please.
Branded! Who told you to rest? Stoke those damn flames! And you! If you've got a message for me, out with it. If not, return to your post.
Poor baggers. They're still getting work done.
Heard the bones fell favourably.
I'll speak to you then.
Sergeant's got it in for us two. As if either of... Where's your commanding officer, Branded? Don't you know the training grounds are for real soldiers?
Oh, it's my
Hey,
sight
you lost or
just
something?
murder them.
Sorry,
Please.
but the Imperial Guard's got no use for your kind. The infantry always needs more bodies, though.
I'm just passing through.
Don't bloody believe it. The bastard's wearing the moon and stars.
That'll be why he's strutting about like he owns the place.
The Dame
Come back
laughed
again.
when we offered her our protection. You reckon this prick's really worth a couple of the Emperor's finest?
Yep.
I dare say there's ways of finding out. How about it, Branded? Care to show us how you earned that brooch?
I'd
Rather than cunnilingus on you, Beth.
Oh,
I mean, I'll try.
Only chivalrous souls that we are, Robin and I need to know the dame's being properly looked after.
Right.
Fine. If it'll put your mind at ease.
Oh, and just so you know, I won't be holding back. I suggest you don't either. Take a moment to get ready if you need it.
Don't
Wouldn't
need a
want you
thing.
whining about an unfair fight.
I'll take all my clothes off if you want. I'll prioritise your fucking quest, fucker.
Now, let's get the measure of you, shall we?
5'11".
If that's what you want.
Cocky bastard. All right, let's be having you.
Let's be having you! Good lord.
Oh, and when you go crying to your mistress, tell her it was Leon who gave you the pounding. Use all the dirty tricks you want, Brandon.
I will.
So you know one end of a block.
Come at me! What to do? Come at me!
Where are my men?
Stay down, you little son.
I yield.
They yield. I don't want to kill them. I thought it killed them. I was like, they were trying to do something.
What the hell are you playing at, Leon? So it's a real challenge he wants, is it? Fine.
Fuck me.
Sword up, bearer. Let's have some fun, shall we? How the bearer win the Dane's favour anyway?
By knowing when to hold my tongue for a start.
I say, come on, you've done it. Whoa! Well, he's done better than you. That's not funny about. Okay. You want to go, do you? Have that.
That's enough.
Oh, win the bum! I bet you love that, you Robin.
Oh, you've got potential. I'll give you that.
Not Francis Bailey, isn't it? A sword fight it is.
Can I go now?
Grieger's gas. The bastard didn't even break a sweat.
The dame's man or no, he's still a branded. Best hope the sergeant never hears about this.
Oh no, why?
Not after the bollocking he gave us for missing drills. Might be the old sod had a point.
Yes, if you'd done them drills, you'd have beat a phoenix boy.
Yeah, good bloody riddance. At least we know the dame's in safe hands, I suppose.
Do us a favour. If you have to tell the dame about this, tell her we got a good few hits in, eh?
Why would I do that? What makes you think I would do that? Thank you. Thank you so very, very much.
The Emperor's finest, thrashed by a branded.
Assume I can't help.
Enough! Curse you! Get away from me! You'll work faster next time if you know what's good for you!
I mean, I could have gone a lot worse.
Yeah. It looks like you need it.
Some comestibles just for you.
The Chamberlain must have sent you, but alas, my work is far from over. If I don't go now, they'll beat me.
You need to rest.
But I won't. I've wounds to heal and bones to mend.
And what of your own hurts?
They'll
I
wait.
gave you some comestibles.
As will my hunger. Thank you, though.
You try and help, and it's just, yeah.
A drover has more regard for his cattle than the Empire does its bearers. Anyway, I'd better head to the Vale.
That bastard!
Going to the Vale to whisper in an ear. Not a rear, an ear. Orally. Not like that, with an AU. Don't mind,
All right. Are you here for business or pleasure?
Business, though not my own. The Chamberlain put me to work delivering food.
Ah,
Now I'm here
so
to
he
kill
found
you.
someone to help him then. Just as well. I hear his friends back at court have been taking a little too much interest in him of late.
I'm going to find
So
his
he
head on
really
a
is a
stake.
Chamberlain.
Head on a stake.
There was a time when he was the Vale's most illustrious customer. Us girls thought of him as a generous uncle. He was one of the only people round here who seemed bothered by the way the Empire treats its bearers.
Generous uncle.
Rare for one in his position.
A fact not wasted on the dame. A little nudge from her is all it took, and he became the patron saint of Northreach's starving masses. My sisters and I may have lost an uncle, but bearers are being fed for a change, so we don't grumble. Much.
Glad to hear it.
Gives you faith, though, doesn't it? To know there are people out there like him.
Like all of the
And you, for
implications.
that matter. It's no wonder the dame's got a soft spot for you.
There's nothing soft about it. After
better
about,
be
stop
going.
giggling. It's cold.
haven't seen you
another
around the
one.
Vale of late.
Excuse me, you there?
Hello.
I cannot help but notice you bear the moon and stars. So you are an associate of the dames?
Something
Might I
like
trouble
that.
you for some assistance? You'll be rewarded, of course.
I mean, it's dressed very strange.
know exactly what I'd be
speaking
assisting.
exactly like this.
Oh, forgive me. I am Etienne, a humble merchant, though fortunate enough to count the dame among my acquaintances. I have business beyond these walls, but the guards have grown somewhat suspicious of my comings and goings of late. I was hoping someone might be kind enough to go in my stead. And who better than someone in the employ of the Vale's proprietress? Would you be willing to help a fellow in his hour of need?
Why not?
Why not?
Marvelous. The task is simple enough. Pass through the gate and deliver packages to a few of my most valued clients. There are 3 in total. A grocer, an apothecary, and
a
a
candlestick
distiller.
maker.
You need only mention that the items you carry are fresh from the master's table.
Nothing dangerous, I
human
hope.
flesh.
Why, of course not. Merely trifles which folk beyond the checkpoint are keen to get their hands on.
Human
And
flesh.
though I cannot prevent you from peeking, I advise that you don't. Strongly advise.
I will prioritise your quest, weird quest giver. 3 heavy horses. So I can go back beyond wall. I'm not suspicious about this at all. Hello, gatekeeper. Chocobo.
The right to confiscate.
Reds, whites, ale.
Well, that a plum.
What did you say was in these pies again?
I warn
Lickermonger.
you now. I don't sell to your kind, whether you have the coin or not. Where's your master anyway?
Where's your master anyway?
Didn't know he had his own bearer. Business must be booming. All right, quickly now, before the guards notice.
Every jounce and jostle of this unexceptional leather sack is accompanied by an eerily melodic tinkling. Is likely best ignored.
That is no burden off my back. And this is for Etienne.
All this for a drink.
Not just any drink. The very best. Specially distilled for my most discerning customers. The guards find that, they'll seize it before you can blink. You keep it well hidden, all right?
Right up my
Etienne
arse,
likes
love.
it. Tell him there's more where that came from. For a price, of course.
Of course.
Okie doke. Hello, twat bucket. Oh, I've got something for you.
I have no business with Branded.
Well, I have business with you. A package. Fresh from the master's table.
I do not know you. Where is the merchant, Etienne?
Somewhere the gate guards won't be paying him or his affairs any mind.
Fine. Hand over the goods and be gone.
Burn it down. Burn it all down.
This is lighter than usual. Branded, if I discover you have played me false...
I can always take it back.
You will do no such thing. Your master should cut out your insolent tongue.
Just
If you'd been the tool of any
slit
other
your
man, I would
throat.
see you clapped in chains. Payment. Take it and get out of my sight.
Cigars.
Those cigars are worth more than your life. Do be careful.
Hope you can see that Mothercrystal from where you're standing, mate. Oh, you can as well. Enjoy the view.
You say these are all from down there?
There's nothing here for your kind, Branded. Go on now. Shoot.
I have a delivery from Etienne. Fresh
Fresh
from the master's table.
table.
Did you say so?
I did say so.
Times are hard. But this here'll make 'em less so. For a while, at least.
Crystal methods.
Sorry about the welcome. Meant nothing by it. You wait right here.
He's already had a snort, hasn't he? Much more amenable all of a sudden. Does crystal meth make you amenable? Leave a comment. Let me know.
You can tell Etienne I'm a man of my word.
We'll
Perfume.
never mention you again.
Oriflamme's finest.
Cigars.
Just as promised.
No drink.
Perfume, cigars, and spirits. Someone has expensive tastes. The question is, how can they afford to maintain them? I suppose there's only one way to find out.
Merchants.
And what can I do for you?
She apparently has no concerns over branded. Fry clam shells. Before the storm, orchestrion roll. Yep, I do have something to sell, didn't I? Oh, got a gill bag.
That's the best I can
And some
do.
rat bag.
Thank you.
Sa.
No one's
Come on,
allowed
Mum.
through the gate until...
Get on it.
Well then.
Oh, Etienne. Fire.
Ah, you have returned.
I believe these are
Yes.
yours.
Box of cigars. After the leaves of the tobacco plant are harvested, they are dried and cured for several moons to improve their flavour before being finely chopped and rolled inside a single uncut leaf. Though no other ingredients are added, the resulting cigars are possessed of the distinct aromas of vanilla, cherry, and clove. Essence of rose. It is said that the petals of 20 roses are required to distill a single drop of fragrant rose oil. Brandy wine. A potent spirit made by distilling wine and then aging in barrels for several decades. As such, it remains a luxury even for the aristocracy.
Delightful. The dame will be pleased.
You don't say. And would she be pleased to learn what you had to exchange for those items?
You mean the crystals? No need to be coy, my boy.
Why not just tell me in the first place?
An honest man wears deception like shackles about his ankles. I couldn't risk you stumbling under the gaze of the guards. After all, we both know the punishment for dealing in unsanctioned crystals, even such morsels as I provide.
Well, we'll soon
And
stop
if you
being
don't
any
know what this
bother at
day's
all.
work may have cost you, then, well, I dare say you'll sleep all the better for it. Despite the risk, our friends beyond the wall gladly give their finest and most treasured wares for the paltry crumbs I trade in.
I didn't realize crystals were so scarce here.
As scarce as chocobo teeth, hence the thriving market for even the scantest fragments. Do you think it vulgar that I profit from the hardship of others?
I think you're doing what you believe is necessary.
Yeah, indeed. And I don't doubt the dame would agree. A reward for a job well done. I have the goods I was commissioned to gather, and the guards are none the wiser.
Indeed.
I thank you. As will our mutual friend when she hears of how you have aided me.
Maybe I can share some of that brandy wine. Each other's nipples. Bloody-eyed. That's it, bye. That's it, we mopped them all up. Oh, look at that, all mopped. Speaking of which,
You wear the dame's brooch. She must trust you.
Enough
Yes,
to have
yes.
me look for one of your colleagues. A woman by the name of Tatienne.
totally forgot that's what
She's
she
still
wanted.
missing then.
Yes,
Oh,
I'm
if
looking for her.
only I'd comforted her.
You saw her before she disappeared.
The day before, she was in tears. She'd lost her comb, a gift from the dame. It wasn't anything fancy, but you could tell it meant the world to her. You see, Tatienne was an orphan, and she looked upon the dame as a mother, as do we all.
As do we all.
So she was upset.
And I didn't lend her my shoulder. But perhaps someone else did. Tatienne
More than a
shared
shoulder.
a room. Her chambermaid may have seen something. She's over there, sitting by the pond.
Thank you.
He's over there, sitting by the pond.
Let's see what her chambermaid can tell us then.
Hello, chambermaid.
So you're the new escort the girls have been talking about. And you've already been sent off on an errand, eh? Poor boy. You'll be knackered before the real work begins later on tonight.
Told you share a bedchamber with Tatienne. Did she say anything to you before?
Before she went missing. Only that she needed to meet with someone. She did mention a name, but I know exactly who she meant.
You do?
Lad from the garrison. Annoying little shit. Spent every guil he earned on Tatienne, and picked fights with anyone else who tried to buy her time. Followed her around like a lost puppy. Tatienne was flattered at first, but it didn't take long for her to get scared. She thought about saying something.
We've all been there.
But the dame was so proud of her for how much she was bringing in, and she didn't want to let her down.
This man from the garrison. Did you ever see him?
Of course I did. He tried to sneak into our room enough times. Slimy sod's got a scar over one eye. Claims he got it in battle.
You've been very helpful.
Don't let him get away with this. Find him, and you'll find her.
But what if I find her, and then find him?
A man from the garrison. Seems a trip to the barracks is in order.
Oh, time is of the essence, Cliff.
I haven't seen you around the Vale of late.
Come on now. Ah! You there?
Heard the bones fell favourably.
I'm looking for a man with a scar over his eye.
Looking for a man? Does this look like a brothel, Branded? Fuck off.
Hold your tongue. He wears the dame's brooch. One word from him and the Vale's doors will be barred to us for good.
There's only one man in the garrison with a dodgy eye. His name's Yannick. I haven't seen him around lately, though.
On account of him being in war. Yeah, Yannick left a few days back. Said he had dealings with a merchant there.
The dame thanks you. Moor is the last village on the road to Oriflamme. I should let Isabel know where I'm headed.
Sounds wise. He said Isabel! Oh, you're learning, Cliff.
Clive, tell me you bear good tidings.
I bear tidings.
That remains to be seen.
The fact to do that fade out as if like he's explaining everything that's happened to hey, just a bit scared about this Yannick and he's at that village up the road.
This Yannick. The soldiers I spoke to believe he's in the village of Moor. According to them, he claimed to have some business with a merchant there. Though that wouldn't explain his continued absence.
And you plan on traveling to Moor to ascertain the truth?
Isn't that what you want?
Anything.
Oh, it is, but I fear sending you there may cause more harm than good. The people of Moor are rather set in their ways. You'll find they have little love for bearers, and they will not hesitate to report one such as you to the constabulary. There is a man in Moor who owes me a favor. More than one, in fact. His name is Bertrand, and he works at the stables. Tell him I sent you.
I shall return as soon as I find something.
Well, I shouldn't need to if he knows about the brooch. Doesn't work all places then, does it? Come on. Where you head?
How did one of them get up?
You saw the graves. Look at that. Bloody lovely that. Be a shame if someone were to destroy it. It would have been more dramatic if I hadn't made a silly sound effect of the camera just...
Oriflamme, how many bearers suffer to keep your granaries full?
Loads. thousands of the fuckers.
That's enough for today, Branded.
Go
on, back to the business.
And oh, got ourselves some city questies. Strap in, guys. We ain't done yet.
Up, the lot of you. There's still work to be done.
You there? You need a friend?
Branded. Here,
Hello.
now.
Yes, Benoit.
You're late. What kept you?
What?
Late for what?
Did they tell you nothing? A wild beast is savaging my boy. Well, don't just stand there gawping.
Have you never
Rescue
seen any
him.
god before?
All right. Where is he?
My, I see they've sent me a Branded with a spine for a change.
Them jowls.
He's over that way, towards the coast. Go, and see that you kill the beast.
I will prioritize your quest. Quest giver. Where is it? This way!
For someone whose son's in mortal danger, he didn't seem all that worried. Something's not right here. I need to be careful.
They want
The wolf!
to kill
It's going
you.
to eat me!
Not if I can help it.
I need to try and kill you.
Stay back. I'll deal with this.
Stay down.
Yes! I am a god amongst men. And a man amongst gods. No, it doesn't work. What's the blue? What are you? Experience, of course, the ability points. How did you just holster that?
No! You weren't supposed to kill Wolfie. You were supposed to die.
Yeah.
Father will have you whipped for this. Bearers aren't supposed to win. They never win.
What is this? Your father said you were being attacked.
You're not supposed to talk.
What a deep
Stop
voice
looking
for a
at me
tiny
like that.
bitch.
We were only having fun.
Having fun?
Why are you still speaking? Father will hear of this.
Couldn't give a shit.
The wolf's work, no doubt. But it's not the wolf that's to blame.
It's the twats. It's always the twats.
Someone needs to put an end to this before it happens again.
I'm just going to murder him in the middle of the street. Let's murder him in the middle of the street. Come to murder in the middle of the street. Shiny!
How dare you frighten my son? You slaughter his poor pet and then have the gall to return, head held high.
Indeed.
That wolf was trained. Better trained by far than your worthless kind. You are the entertainment, nothing more. And we are most certainly not entertained.
Sorry,
Nor am
Queen
I.
Victoria.
You'll pay for what you've done.
See? I told you. He talks too much. It's not right. I don't like him, Father.
You're not the Branded I bought, are you? How dare you deceive me? Well,
stab him.
The sins of the slave are the sins of the master. Go! Summon the unlucky wretch you answer to.
Oh god, let's go for that.
Unlucky wretch would be the dame. I can summon her if you like. Though I doubt she would welcome the interruption.
you, serve the dame. Why would a woman of her caliber...
Everyone just gets
You look
shagged
afraid.
here, don't they?
Well, how do you think those bearers in the field felt? Can you imagine their fear? Their pain? From the look of you, I'd say you're starting to get an idea of the first. Now, if you need help with the second...
Go ahead, Clemmy.
Father, he's scaring me.
Good.
You think to threaten us, Branded? The dame's pet or no, I will not abide such insolence.
Can't we just buy another hound? A bigger one, a better one.
Of course, my son. I'll have the villagers fetch us another. With jaws
please tell me this is gonna be like
powerful
part
enough to
2.
nip this Branded's head clean off his shoulders.
I hope there's a part 2. Well, the part 1's not
I'm
yet
wasting
done.
my time. But I can't just leave those bearers lying out there. They deserve a proper burial. That much I can do at least.
Why'd you have to get all soppy about?
How many bearers have
Another
lost
crystal
their
in there.
lives to this nobleman's sport?
Thousands of the fellas. We just leave them for the chocobos. Throw a diesel green on them and they'll lap it up. Everybody! No shovel. Gonna use the sword, I suppose.
More victims of the nobles' games. You must be Clive.
How do you know my name?
The Dame. I'm in her service, like yourself.
Oh, I know your service.
Never gets any easier, burying the dead.
Is that what you're here to do?
The mistress has me see to it that none are left to the crows. Since you're here, can you give me a hand?
Oh, no. Now that someone's doing
Let's
it.
put them to rest.
I need to get on with things. I'm the protagonist. Wasting time here.
May their burden finally be lifted. I take it you slew the nobleman's pet?
I did. Now I expect they'll find another soon enough. And when it gets here, more bearers will die. How can they think so little of sending us to the slaughter?
Because you're not people.
Simple.
To them.
Because you are not them. Bearers are tools when they're needed, and toys when they're not. And if one breaks, well, you can always buy another. Still, such attitudes don't always go unpunished.
Is this your doing?
Of course not. Wolves kill. It's in their nature. Invite one into your home, he's gonna tear your throat out eventually. Same with bearers. Fed or not, they don't lack for fangs.
This game's mad, isn't it?
What will folk do when they bite back, I wonder? The realm's nest two murderous bastards, and I won't mourn the loss. Here. For their help.
You don't have to.
Take it. You never know. Our paths may cross
You don't
again.
have to. So it was in his pocket and he was ready
Till
to just
then.
piss him off. This lens flare's weird. It's like, there's no camera here. It says IRL, as far as DLI is concerned. That was a fun one. That was more of your Witcher 3 style, bit of interest, bit of intrigue. That was cool. Nathan's. More fetch quests then. See that flesh.
I must see their flesh. I must taste their blood.
Sorry, I carried away. Hello, dear.
Have you seen my Chloe?
A
I let
fable
her
or
out of
something?
her
Rip the
pen
teddy
while I did my
apart?
chores, but she hasn't come back yet.
She's a nice
think
wolf. She's
lost.
trained to growl at
Please, can you
children
help
and
me
look
for her?
threatening. I hope she hasn't been slaughtered.
I can't promise I'll find her, but I'll try. Describe her to me.
She's beautiful white hair. She lets me stroke her when I'm sad. She's ever such a good girl. So quiet and kind. And she likes
Branded.
walking in the wheat. I know the fields are big,
She's an absolute.
but she's never got lost
She's
before.
definitely branded and.
She must be starving too. She hasn't eaten anything since yesterday. It is my job to feed her.
In that case, let's not keep her waiting.
I will prioritize your quest, tiny quest giver.
That's a lot of field to search. With a little
Definitely
luck,
a
someone
problem.
might have seen her.
I've not onto it yet. Hello, fastidious farm wife.
You work these fields? I need to ask you something.
A branded. And an outsider at that, judging by the lack of manners. Why should I help you, eh? You tell me that.
Because a girl from the village asked me to find her pet, Chloe. Have you seen her?
Chloe, is it? Oh, little Lisette's plaything. Last I saw, the filthy creature was sniffing about the windmill. That girl's old enough to know she should tie her pet up when she's finished playing with it.
The windmill.
Lock on.
Off with you now. I won't have idle branded underfoot.
Thank you, fastidious farm wife.
Chloe?
No, that's not Chloe.
More brown than white. You're not Chloe, are you, girl?
Yeah, you're the exact same dog from the village.
Is that someone napping on the job? I hope they don't mind the interruption.
It's Chloe. Petrified, is she? Yeah.
The crystal's curse.
Chloe, I was calling you. Didn't you hear me?
What?
Get up now. You've slept long enough. It's time to go home. Chloe? Why did you already turn into a rock? I only made you do a bit of magic. You
This
knew
is
you were my
horrific.
favourite. None of the other Chloes had pretty hair.
None of the other
It'll be
Chloes.
months before Dad gives me another one. I have to wait until they're too tired to work anymore.
Is that all she was to you? A plaything? Do you really not care that she's dead?
She's not dead. She's a rock.
That? The crystal's curse? That's just how she died. And now she's gone forever. Giving another bearer her name won't change that.
She's not even
No.
called Chloe.
Don't say that.
It's true. And without that brand, she would have been just another girl. Somebody's daughter. Just like you.
Dad said bearers don't have parents.
They do.
God.
Parents that give them away. Families they'll never see again. But you became Chloe's family when you took her in. Remember that.
Remember me.
And remember her.
Oh, you broke the pipe. Good lads. All of this, old children don't know any better, lark. Now it's with the rock woman. Yeah! Onwards. Oh, oh. Can't be asked for the fight, alright, I'm not a chicken.
If the people of Moor are as intolerant as Isabel says, it's no wonder the Empire never sent my unit here.
What do you have then, friend?
Oi, don't touch anything.
Thought it'd be something like that. Into the mire.
Thanks for nothing.
Go fuck yourself. Hello!
Are you Bertrand? The dame sent me.
Sounds about right. Only time I hear from her is when she wants something. Well, go on then.
Well,
What
pay
is
her a
it?
few coin and
One
she'll
of her
talk
courtesans
to
has
you,
gone
but
missing,
right, mate.
and I need to find her. A soldier who may have information on her whereabouts is rumored to have come here to meet with a trader.
Many traders stop to peddle their wares on their way to the capital, but only one's been seen quarrelling with a soldier.
Is he still here?
The trader? Oh, yeah. Stubborn sod stood his ground till the soldier got tired of shouting, from what I hear.
Good lad.
If you seek him out, keep your head down.
No.
Fact is, folks round here would sooner hang a branded than help him.
I'm getting that
That's even
vibe.
with the dame's brooch for protection.
Understood.
I'll burn the entire 400 at the moment. Well, I'm done with it. You won't
Weren't
even know
expecting
there was a
any
village here.
branded until the new moon. You don't think he's a deserter, do you?
Travelling
What's this?
trader.
Branded? Where's your master? Must I call for the constable?
Must I call for the
I
constable?
come to you from Northreach, at the behest of the dame. Perhaps you've heard of her.
Why, of course I have. I am the good lady's servant.
God, everyone's so
What is
boring
it
around
that
here.
she requires of me?
I like
Rumor
them.
has it you were seen arguing with a soldier some few days ago. A soldier with a scar over his eye.
Yes, that's right. He had a comb which he claimed was an antique. Said he wanted to trade it for a newer one. But old though it was, an antique it most certainly was not, as I told him.
Bloody told him, I
Nevertheless,
said.
He insisted that it was of great value and was quite vehement about my appraisal.
Well, if he's
I
vehement,
stood
how can
firm,
you turn it
however,
down?
and for all his bluster, he still purchased a new comb, albeit an
Want to
inexpensive
tell the
one.
grandkids about that, mate.
And do you know where he went after that?
My customers aren't usually in the habit of telling me whither they are bound.
And whether
but
they
as
are
it
not.
happens, this one did. Yonder ruins, strange as it may sound.
People don't tell me where they're going, except conveniently this one bloke whom you're looking for. He's here.
Anything. Be sure and tell her, won't you, that I was helpful. I mean, most helpful.
Yeah, don't get your cock in a knot. You can do that with their tongue. Come on, Torgal. To victory we go.
It smells of
Excuse
death
me
here,
there.
Torgal.
Lovely, lovely death.
We can't let them get any closer to the village.
Loads of wolf. Can't let them get any closer. Heaven forbid they get close to the range.
Give them all you've got, boss.
Well, ain't that take this and this and this and that and one of them.
Keep that up. You're finished.
Don't say we'll look a fool on Torgal, but I'll let you up because you're absolutely bloody adorable. Do you mind?
There's a good boy.
Ah, bloody hell.
Give them all you've got, boy. Don't let them get away.
You're finished.
That's epic. Bloody-eyed.
Damn it all. Bodies. A man and a woman.
They run away together. I think they ran away together.
Well, the wolves have been busy. But the blood is long dry. So it is you. Tatienne.
If that's true, then the body next to hers will be Yannick's.
Who are
The girl
you?
Yannick went off to sea every night. He said her name was Tatienne.
You.
Oh,
Did you follow me?
Now, why would I do that? Unless you think I'd have good reason to. But no. I was sent to find Yannick. By the looks of things, I have.
We both found who we were searching for.
Nah, he was a jealous sod. Couldn't stand the thought of his woman with someone else. Then one day he sees her with a new comb. Thinks she's got herself a new gallant. Tells the garrison he's going to find the man and kill him. We know it's all talk, but then he disappears off to Moor for some dealings and doesn't come back.
If you mean this comb, it was a gift from the dame.
If only Yannick had bothered to ask, eh? He might not be rotting on a hill.
I think he meant to ask her something else. He stole the old comb and bought her a new one in the hope they'd wed.
Wed? Where would they have gone? Certainly not back to Northreach with a dame waiting.
Why
We
are we
all
just
know
having a
what
nice
happens to
chat? Do you think I'm
deserters.
scum of the earth?
Tell the dame I'm sorry for her loss. When the lads come to collect Yannick's body, I'll see that Tatienne is delivered to the Vale.
Is that wise?
Oh, there won't be any covering up this mess. The most we can hope for is that the dame doesn't hold it against us.
Is a nice
Speaking of
bloke.
which, I saw her in Moor just now. Could you tell her what happened? Might sound better coming from you.
You heard me speak. I have one turn of delivery. Oh shit of a
I need to
soldier
tell
as well.
Isabel. Perhaps the comb will give her something to remember Tatienne by.
I got the comb though. A woman's dead, Clive.
If it was a
Hello.
message...
You are still in one piece, I see.
Obviously.
You will be pleased to hear that your companions have arrived. They said they would meet you at a little chapel to the east of here.
Thank
How
you.
will I ever
but
break this code?
You needn't have come all this way just to tell me. I was on my way to see you.
You found her then?
Ripped to shreds by wolves, the little bitch was. See, I didn't think it'd sound better coming from me. I didn't.
I see. My dear Tatienne. It is by no means uncommon for a client to fall for a courtesan. Especially a client who's young and far from home. But rarely do such tales have happy endings.
Well, it's a happy-ish, isn't it?
I
Put it
found this
together
with
till the
Tatienne.
end.
I believe it was yours.
An old wooden comb gifted to Tatienne by Madame Isabel. Several of the teeth appear to have been recently broken. Maybe this treasured comb will be enough to remember.
Thank you for returning it. I shall see that it has a place on her pyre.
If you're just gonna burn it, why did I bother? Unbelievable.
I should go.
Yeah, I bloody well
Before
think you
you
should.
I have one last gift. A token of my thanks. The Vale counts among its patrons several high-ranking officers of the Imperial Army. According to one of the looser-tongued gentlemen, it would appear that the legions are planning to march south.
Otto mentioned the same thing.
But did he mention that it was all of the legions?
Yes.
This is no mere skirmish.
We knew that.
Right,
This is dramatic irony at
I'd
play.
say
It's a
the
classic
Emperor planned to abandon the
Shakespearean
capital.
way of
But
doing
that couldn't possibly
storytelling.
be true now, could it? Take
Classic
care,
Shakespeare. Classic
Oh, well.
Shakespeare, is it?
And thank you again.
And well, if you insist.
Good boy.
As a papa. Yes, he is. Run away. Oh, wrong way. How'd you get there then?
Weren't expecting any new branded until the new moon.
You said that. Hello, priest. Oh. Go ahead, Clive. Hill sprints. Good lad. Shedding them poons. And he's down again. And he's up again! Oh, really? Yeah, we only don't have to go back down the bloody hill. Oh, sorry, wrong button. Wasn't paying attention.
Any trouble on the way?
None worth mentioning.
As I was telling Jill, it's worse than I thought. The capital's crawling with soldiers.
And here I am, the deserter come home.
Which is why we'll be taking the back door.
You dirty bastard, Adolphus. Can't see it. Can you? Where is it? The pleasure houses of Oriflamme. When you said taking the back door, Sid, I'll do a lot for the cause, I will, but for the rest first.
Cheer up, you two. Can't think of a safer place in the Empire than a... brothel.
Really? Doesn't seem very private.
So then, how do we proceed?
We'll be using the glass gate. Tonight, just after sunset.
Where the shards are loaded for transport. That is one of the most heavily guarded points in all of Sambrek.
Last place they'll think of
But
looking.
not the
I love it, Sid.
most, which is a start. Besides, I know a shortcut straight to the heart.
A shortcut. And how exactly did you come to know about this fatal chink in the Empire's armor?
Let's just say I may have attempted something similar before. And may have ended up running for dear life after being discovered by Bahamut, but that's not important.
Sid, if the Mothercrystals truly are the cause of the Blight...
If? You wound me, Jill.
What I'm trying to say is, if the powers that be know all of this, why do they sit idle and allow it to continue?
In case you haven't noticed, the God-fearing people of this realm and their pious leaders care for but one thing, themselves. and they'll do whatever it takes to hold on to power. The rest of us are just a means to an end. The moment you raise your voice against them, you're decried as an outlaw, clapped in irons and slung in a cell to rot.
An outlaw.
Whoever controls the crystals controls the realm, but our kind can wield magic without them. To our rulers, we must seem the most convenient of tools, and the most dangerous.
I'm not a tool.
But what makes them think they have the right to use us?
If we can
To
answer
leave
such
us
a
to
deep
die
question.
when our bodies are spent.
Does a nobleman weep for a broken mug?
What's what's
A
happened to
torn
his arm,
tunic?
isn't it? Petrified. Oh,
Our
food.
fate means nothing to them. No, this isn't a battle you can win with words. Believe me, I've tried, but nothing ever gets through. The world is simply not ready to listen. So to hell with talking. If they won't give us a say, we'll decide our fates another way. You
That
can't
rhymes
blame
it.
a man for wanting to bring an end to all this, can you?
It's a bit shit,
I can't. But what of all the people you mean to rob of their comforts? Are you happy for them to call you outlaw?
Sid the Outlaw. That'll do me.
You might at least pretend to take this seriously.
Have a little faith, Jill.
The
Even
outlaw
if you don't think much
doesn't
of my
mean
choice
that
of
you're living
digs.
like outside the
It
law.
means
It
my
means you're
deeds
outside
will
of
be
the law's
remembered.
protection.
I'll gladly play the role of villain.
As in you've forsaken all the protection that the law provides those who don't flaunt
First, we have a
against the
gate
power.
to crash. And once we're in, there'll be no
True.
turning back.
Common
So you best make
misconception.
ready. The world won't save itself.
It might. But it might. Oh, ta ta ta. Go. Oh. Ooh. Oh, maybe I'll have to wait then, because that's going to take a while, that story bit, isn't it? Well, I've done all of the side quests everywhere, haven't I? That I can, so that's good. Oh, it's a short one, but I might have to cut it short so I can give some proper time to it in a bit. I'll come back on about 10ish. So in about, yeah, an hour and a half and do it then. So actually, we do a tiny bit of lore. I wasn't going to because it was a short one, but I've been made to call it quits a bit sooner than I'd otherwise have planned to.
Very well.
So, I now
your letters.
would like to do lore
Easy for him
like
to
this. Isn't this nice? I'm meant to be able to hear him as well, but I suppose it doesn't really matter. I know I haven't sorted my sources out, but it's okay because I'll be doing most of the narration. So this lovely music. A bit loud than I'd like. Take the edge off a little bit. Let's view the 1,000 tomes together. Clive tells Hippocrates of some of his adventures, and some of the tomes get updated. Only a tiny tad this time around. Only a tiny tad. So let's go back to Persons of Interest, where we last left off on the 1,000 tomes. We go to Jill Warwick and start with all we know about her up to now. Jill Warwick. Born Princess of the Northern Territories, Jill was made a ward of Rosaria after her homeland's incessant raids were quelled by the Duchy. She was raised in a Rosalith castle alongside Clive and Joshua, who came to love her as a sister. On top of that, when she waved the brothers farewell on the day they departed for Phoenix Gate, little did she know of the misfortune that had awaited both them and her. Dominant of Shiva and Clive's childhood friend, in the depths of the Nissa defile, the two came to blows at the orders of the armies that had enslaved them. Jill fighting to defend the priests of the Iron Kingdom, Clive obeying the Empire's orders to take the head of Shiva's dominant. Exhausted from her tilt with Titan, Jill came close to falling to her assassin's blades, but was spared at the last moment when Clive's memories of their time together came flooding back. In the wake of the tragedy of Phoenix Gate, Jill was taken prisoner by the Ironblood army that marched on Rosalith and held captive on her Air Islands. It was there that she awakened as the dominant of Shiva and was forced to serve as the Crusaders' weapon in their holy wars. After Clive and Cid spirited her away from the battlefield, where she was being forced to fight for the Ironblood, Jill was placed in the care of the Hideaway's talented physicker, Taya, who nursed her back to health. Finally awake after a long period of convalescence, she set out with Clive to discover the truth of their past. Torgal. It's more on Torgal than one would expect. Clive's faithful friend. Look at that face! Brought back from one of the Archduke Elwin's expeditions to the frozen northern territories, where he was found half-starved and shivering in a snowfield, having presumably been separated from his puppy bag. Elwin gifted the puppy to Clive upon his return, and the two became nigh inseparable. Until the tragic events of Phoenix Gate tore them apart. Clive's faithful friend, now fully grown. After the tragic events at Phoenix Gate, Clive believed that Torgal was lost to him forever. However, their paths were to cross again some 13 years later, when Torgal's new master, Cid, came to Clive's rescue in the depths of the Nissa Defile. Despite their long years apart, the two knew each other as if not a single day had passed since their separation. The two were separated at the night of tragedy of Phoenix Gate, yet reunited 13 years later in the depths of the Nissa Defile. In the intervening years, Torgal not only grew into a fine hound, but met with Cid, who trained him to work as a hunting dog. To meet him with Clive again, Torgal gladly returns to the service of his former master. Ambrosia. Born in the stables of Rosalith Castle, Ambrosia was chosen by the young Clive Rosfield to be his personal steed and raised by him from a chick. She is a proud bird and deeply loyal to her master, quickly turning her beak upon any but he who should attempt to pet her. During the attack on Phoenix Gate, she raced to Clive's rescue, saving him from certain death at the cost of an eye, a price she gladly paid. Do we know that, though? Do we know she gladly paid that price? Adolphus Telamon, cornered by a battalion of Iron Kingdom Crusaders in the depths of the Nissa Defile, Clive thought his end was nigh, until Cid appeared and spirited him and Jill away to a secret hideaway in the Deadlands. Founder and leader of the hideaway, where he and his comrades labour to liberate bearers and dominants from servitude, a life that Cid knows all too well, as he bears the burden of being the dominant of Ramuh, Warden of Thunder. No longer does he fight for any one nation, but for all the peoples of Valisthea. Leader of the hideaway and dominant of Ramuh, Warden of Thunder, born in a land beyond the Twins, Cid journeyed to Valisthea as a sword for hire. It was here that he entered the service of Walud, awakened as a dominant, and was finally elevated to a Lord Commander of the Royal Army. However, he was soon to abandon his post, and Benedicta, that he might instead create... However, he was soon to abandon his post, and Benedicta, that he might instead create a world where bearers and dominants can die on their own terms. In his quest to create a world where bearers and dominants can die on their own terms, he unearthed a shocking truth, that the Mothercrystals were the cause of the all-consuming blight. He makes plans to see the mothers fall at Valisthea, and their people might be saved. Benedicta Harmon, commander of the Kingdom of Walud's elite intelligences, who sits by her liege's side at the highest tables of state, most recently in their negotiations with the Dalmex at the Ziranitra stronghold. But Barnabas is not the only one with whom she shares a special bond. Benedicta also has highs and ambitions for Hugo Kupka, commander of the Kingdom Walud's elite intelligence and a true scholar of the blade, who leads her loyal minions from the front. After attending negotiations with the Dalmex at the Ziranitra stronghold, where she crushed the hopes of the Republican army while encouraging those of Hugo Kupka, she parted company with her liege lord in order to lead a secret incursion into Imperial territory. He is also the dominant of Garuda, the Warden of Wind. While her dalliances with Hugo Kupka would appear to be naught but a ruse, guided by the hand of King Barnabas, her love for her former Lord Commander Cid was deep and true. and left an equally abyssal hole in her heart when he fled Wallud. After Clive took her power at Caernarvon and the keep was set to fire, she and her comrades were forced into making a hurried retreat, only to be set upon by bandits. What was left of Benedicta's power ran amok, summoning forth the raging whirlwind within which she was at last to lose her life at the hands of Clive Rosfield and his equal, Ifrit cycle. Very good. Go through a couple more, shall we? Hugo Kupka. Kupka's awakening as the dominant of the Icon Titan thrust him to the forefront of Dhalmekian politics, winning him influence over both the Republic's armies and its policymaking, as well as a personal fortune. He has little love for his country, taking advantage of his position to benefit himself and himself alone. His love for Benedicta Harmon, however, is absolute, and he would gladly betray his every ally just to be with her. His greatest treasure, however, was always Benedicta Harmon, so when a servant of Wallud informed him that his love had been slain by Cid, his fury toward the outlaw and his allies knew no bounds. Who is this? Dion Lesage, leader of the Dragoons, the most elite warriors of the Holy Empire of Sanbreque, who are the first to leap into the fray when the Empire finds itself under threat, often literally. Dion is also the dominant of Bahamut, Warden of the Light. Firstborn son and loyal subject of Emperor Sylvestra, ruler of the Holy Empire of Sanbreque, as well as the leader of the Empire's most elite fighting force, the Dragoons. Dion is also the dominant of Bahamut, Warden of Light, and has often been called upon to summon his icon in defence of his countrymen, most recently in the year of the realm 873, when Odin took to the field against them in the Battle of Belenus Tor. Don't know why I did that one so fast, but I did. Royal Knight Lord Commander of the Kingdom of Wallud's armies. He accompanied his liege to Fort Zirnitra in the Republic of Dhalmekia to negotiate the provision of reinforcements from the Royal Order of Knights. Don't remember him at all. Barnabas Thamir, King of Wallud and dominant of Odin, the Warden of Darkness. At the Battle of Belenus Tor, he not only took personal command of the Royal Army. Oh, I'm starting too late. Oh, sorry. The aloof and unshakable Barnabas Thamir. First of his name, few can meet his steely gaze without flinching, so yes, this is the focus on many there. King of Wallud and dominant of Odin, the Warden of Darkness. So there were two dominants together, they're just getting at it on. At the Battle of Belenus Tor, he not only took personal command of the Royal Army, but rode into the fray himself, galloping through the air atop his six-legged steed and goading Barbot into a duel that shook the skies. We've actually read all of Otto's, that's interesting. Gav, Cid's faithful scout who puts his legendary nose to work in tracking the movements of slavers, soldiers, and any other object of interest to the hideaway. The ever-agreeable fellow only too gladly delving behind enemy lines if he can get a good story or two out of it. Oh. The ever-agreeable fellow volunteered to follow after the dominant that Clive had long been hunting, only to find himself being hunted in turn by the Imperials. As luck would have it, Clive arrived in the nick of time to save his life, forging an unbreakable bond between. Taya, resident Physica of Cid's hideaway. I always want to say Physica. Taya is an expert in all manner of medicines and medical interventions, skills that are indispensable in their deadland home, where they cannot call on healing magics. After Cid brings an unconscious Jill back to the hideaway from his expedition to the Nist Defile, she is placed into Taya's care. Karen, one of Cid's most trusted allies, a merchant who calls the hideaway her home. With little help from her hard-working yet long-suffering apprentice goats, she can source whatever supplies the residents of the hideaway need, provided they are willing to pay. She wears a glass eye in her right socket. So she doesn't have heterochromia. She has a glass eye. That's why we read. That's why we read, people. You don't know things unless you read. Hodor, sorry, I mean goats. One of Cid's trusted allies, a gentle giant who has a warm word for everyone. Apprentice to Karen, an ally of the hideaway. Gentle giant who has a warm word for everyone, but is not afraid to put his foot down in the face of injustice, right on its nose. Goats' every waking moment is spent in service to his nap, and he can do little of his own accord without her express permission. Blackthorn, resident blacksmith of Cid's hideaway. A sullen and secretive source who prefers to drown his woes in drink, but to share them. Been there, done that. How weird, going to read about you tomes, isn't it? Hippocrates' second Hyperboreus, the hideaway's resident historian, whose love for books has earned him the nickname Tomes. Hippocrates travelled to Valencia as a youth, seeking to unearth the secrets of this land of legend, and over the years has developed a deep knowledge of Valacethian geography, history, religion, and folklore. Oxford comma use there. Do you see it? Religion and folklore. Always a fan of an Oxford comma. Well done, Square Enix. Goat, Otto's loyal lackey, tasked not only with keeping the ledgers, but with reading and sorting the myriad reports that enter the hideaway and arranging assistance for those in need. Born a bearer, Goat was kept as a slave to an Oriflamme tavern, whose keeper would beat him bloody. After being thrown out onto the city streets as punishment for a minor mistake, it was his fortune to be found by Otto, who took him back to the hideaway. Kenneth, chief cook at Sid's hideaway. Though the range and quantity of ingredients on offer in their hidden Deadland home is limited at best, Kenneth finds an opportunity in adversity, concocting toothsome fare from whatever happens to be at hand. It's cooking teeth. Quentin, the inscrutable landlord of Lost Wings Tavern and the leader of the village. Martha, landlady of the Golden Stables, the tavern at the heart of Martha's Rest. She is also a friend of Sid's cause, keeping the hideaway supplied with both victuals, not victuals, we've learned that, with victuals and information on developments in the Western Storm, a second string to her business that she strives to keep secret from the Imperial authorities. Bernard, or is it Bernard? A carpenter who resides at Martha's Rest, whose speed and skill, together with the surrounding marsh waters' deleterious effects on the planks and piles of the village's many bridges, keep his services in high demand. Isabel, an ally of Sid's cause, who makes her home in Northreach. It was she who informed the hideaway of the redeployment of the Sambrechius Legion, following their chastening by Wulud, a boundless Tor. And it is she who will secure Clive's passage through the Northreach checkpoint. Proprietress of the Vale, Northreach's foremost house of ill repute, and one of Sid's trusted collaborators. Isabel is much admired by the populace for her elegance and refinement, qualities that have earned her the title, the Dame. Pendant to Margrace, servant of a man who goes by the name Lord Margrace. So did we hear you say that, did we? We haven't unlocked anything about him yet. Together they travel across the Twins to some unknown end. Elwyn Rosfield, Archduke of the Grand Duchy of Rosaria and father of Clive and Joshua, loved by his people for his steadfast leadership both at home and on the battlefield, which he put to good effect in quelling the rebellious northern territories, which is where Jill is from. Elwyn was born before his father. The previous dominant of the Phoenix passed away, so he did not inherit the Icon's powers. Instead, he devoted himself to the study of swordcraft and statesmanship, that he might lead his country from the front, which he did to wide acclaim in leading his armies in quelling the rebellious northern territories. Late Archduke of the Grand Duchy of Rosaria and father of Clive and Joshua, Elwyn's reign ended when he was beheaded by servants of the Holy Empire of Sambrec in their ignoble attack on the Phoenix Gate. Known not only for his inspiring leadership and skill with the blade, but his disapproval of the mistreatment of bearers, his legacy lives on in all those who oppose imperial rule in what remains of Rosaria. Annabella Lesage, Duchess of Rosaria, wife of Archduke Elwyn and mother to Clive and Joshua. While she adores her younger son, she treats Clive and Jill with naught but thinly veiled contempt. It was not only her beauty, but her connection to a bloodline that produced many previous dominants of the Phoenix that led to her being proposed as a bride for the young Archduke. Indeed, the two are cousins. Having known from a young age that their purpose in life was to preserve her Phoenix-bearing bloodline, she dotes on Joshua and scorns Clive. It was ever her purpose in life to preserve her Phoenix-bearing bloodline, for which reason she betrayed her husband, that she might enter in league with a force she judged the mightier, the Holy Empire of Sambrec. It was Annabella's treachery that led to the disaster at Phoenix Gate. Former Duchess of Rosaria, now Empress of the Holy Empire of Sambrec. It was ever her purpose in life to preserve her Phoenix-bearing bloodline, for which she betrayed her husband, that she might enter into league with the force she judged mightier. Now she rules over Rosaria as a vicereine of the Imperial Province, but she rules with a cruelty and contempt for the base-born that was unknown in Archduke Elwyn's day. What a bitch. Rodney Murdoch, Lord Commander of the Rosarian Army. Not only is he a skilled warrior and loyal guardian of the Rosfield household, he is also a fine tutor indeed. It was he who trained Clive in the secrets of swordplay. While he may be a hard taskmaster, his belief and trust in the shields that serve under him make him a much-loved leader. Outranked by only Archduke Elwin, who is not only his liege lord, but his firm friend. The two share an unshakable bond of trust, Elwin consulting with Rodney on all military matters. Murdoch and his shields accompanied Elwin and Joshua to Phoenix Gate to perform the rite of ancestral communion, only to be set upon first by Imperial infiltrators, then a second shadowy icon of fire, within whose flames Murdoch was engulfed. When Clive manifested into Ifrit during the attack on Phoenix Gate, Murdoch lost his life to the infernal icon's flames. Anna Murdoch, wife of Rodney Murdoch, Lord Commander of the Rosarian Army. Since her marriage, she has resided in the Murdoch Manor in East Cundoo, remaining there even after her husband's death at Phoenix Gate. She gladly welcomes Clive and Jill into her home, going so far as to gift Clive a set of clothes that once belonged to his father, a reminder of happier times that she would rather lived on than moulded in a closet. Alas, her time was also to be cut short at the hands of the villainous servants of Empress Annabella. Yeah, we'll go through the rest we've got. Your Sir Wade, a loyal shield of Rosaria, chosen by Lord Commander Rodney Murdoch to accompany Clive on his expedition to Stillwind. Once but a lowborn page, Wade was inspired to join the ranks after a woodpile fell on him, and his life was saved by a young Joshua. Though he did all he could to return the favour that he owed to Joshua for saving his life as a boy during the attack on Phoenix Gate, Wade was to meet the same fate as the prince. Sir Tyler, a loyal shield of Rosaria and scion of a noble family. Tyler followed in his father's footsteps in entering the service of the duchy, rising to the position of right-hand man to the Lord Commander. He was chosen by Lord Murdoch to accompany Clive on his expedition to Stillwind, a level head who could be trusted not only to obey the young Lord Marcus's orders and keep him safe, but to help keep the fiery Sir Wade in line. Lord Marquis's orders, maybe that was. Though he did everything in his power to assist Joshua and Archduke Elwin's flight from Phoenix Gate on the night of the attack, his years of distinguished service were to come to a close when he was swallowed by the flames of the rampaging Phoenix. Vestre Lesage, Emperor of the Holy Empire of Sambrec, who won his throne at least partly by virtue of his son, Dion, having awakened as the dominant of Bahamut. Interesting, eh? The way that it brings these things into play, doesn't it? The High Cardinal, first and foremost of the 5 cardinals who make up the Council of Elders, second only to the Holy Roman Emperor in the imperial government. It is his role to lead the council in governing Sambrec in the Emperor's stead, and providing the latter does not overrule his decisions, his authority is absolute, and he looks like a slightly less handsome Mads Mikkelsen. Tiamat. A bearer in the service of the Holy Empire of Sambrec, Tiamat is the leader of elite assassin squadron to which Wyvern is assigned, the Bastards. The Bastard. Wyvern. The Bastard. News travels fast. If you get that reference, you're all right in my book. Their latest mission, to take the head of the dominant of Shiva. To this end, they infiltrate the Nissa Defile, where the forces of the Republic of Dhalmekia and the Iron Kingdom are aligned against each other. Though none know his true name, rumour has it that the man now known as Tiamat was born a scion of a noble Sambrec family, and abandoned to his fate after his powers awakened. The bearer in the service of the Holy Empire of Sambrec, Tiamat, or the man who now bears his name, is the leader of the Bastards, a squadron of elite assassins, who is on a mission to take the head of Shiva's dominant in the Nissa Defile, that his subordinate Wyvern, real name Clive Rosfield, turned upon him and cut him down. But Beast gets an entry, seriously. Second longest serving of the Bastards, an elite band of slave assassins in the service of the Holy Empire of Sambrec. He and his Sergeant Tiamat fought alongside each other for many a year, and Beast trusted him with his life. Alas, there was little Tiamat could do to save him from the boulder that was to fall from the skies during their ill-fated mission to infiltrate the Dhalmekian Republic and take the head of Shiva's dominant. Avis, a branded soldier for the Holy Empire of Sanbreque who served alongside Wyvern. None know his true name. He and his band of elite assassins were tasked with taking the head of the dominant of Shiva, and he was to lose his life to a crusader's axe in the course of the mission. Ah, yeah, he's like, get out the way, I'll do it. And he just dies like a bitch. Okay, we'll finish these off, and then we'll call it a day there. Well, not a day, we'll call it about an hour. Attendant to the Crown Prince, second in command of the Dragoons, the foremost fighting force in the early Empire of Sanbreque. The sword remains ever at the ready should anyone be foolish enough to make an attempt on the life of his liege lord, Prince Dion. Dalmekian Chief Strategist and former Field Marshal of the Dalmekian Republic. While there was a time he took personal command of his troop, Hugo Kupka's rise to prominence led to his being called from the battlefield by reason of his advancing age, for which he bears the vainglorious dominant a deep-seated grudge. It's the throne at you. The Republican Prime Minister, leader of the Dalmekian Parliament and eldest and most experienced of its members, those elected by the states of the Republic, plus the dominant of Titan, who serves as an official advisor. Alas, Hugo Kupka does not take kind to his advice being ignored. Rolf, second in command of Waylord's Royal Intelligences, serving under Benedicta Harmon, with whom he shares a deep bond of trust. Killed by footpads while attempting to evacuate the stricken Benedicta from the collapsing Caer Norvund. Fine end. Moss the Chronicler, far-fabled scholar of Valasthian history and legend. Even to this day, much of the surviving knowledge of the distant antiquity of the twins issues from his quill. In his later years, his writings attracted fierce criticism from certain scholarly circles, which resulted in him removing himself from public life. And finally, for now, the Hooded Man. Dominant of Fire, he was called here. A mysterious figure who was first seen amid the chaos of the Imperial invasion of Phoenix Gate, immediately before the appearance of the second icon of Fire, the very icon that slew the heir to the ducal throne. Clive believes this man to be the Dominant who murdered his brother and has sworn to take his revenge. He is rarely seen without his heavy robe, nor his loyal attendant. The two journey together far and wide across the realm to an unknown end, a man named Margrace. The Hooded Man, a mysterious man that many believe to be a Dominant of Fire. Clive first saw him at Phoenix Gate on the night of the Imperial invasion. For years, believed him to be the Dominant of the icon that killed his brother. But to Clive's eternal chagrin, he has proved otherwise. Well, there we have it. Thank you, Tomes, for your time. Loving wonderful of you, that. Much, much appreciated. Let's chill there after that. So yeah, bit of a lore dump, but I wanted to do that, but I thought I can't get into the big main story yet, but that's going to make the next. I'm not going to worry about lore, just get straight into whatever's waiting for us at that Mothercrystal via an hour and a half, 2 hours, 5 hours. I'm doing that tonight. Tuesday be damned. But yes, hopefully I've sorted my tech issues out and I'll just get straight into it again a bit later this evening. But that will be as a separate video on YouTube if that's where you're watching it. A little laid back this episode, but you know, I want to get the side quests done, even if some of them aren't that interesting, but I've really enjoyed the one with Posh Bloke and his doggo there and stuff as well, so yeah. But I won't go off wandering for stuff anymore. We know now the exclamation points will appear if there's anything to focus on. But yes, next time we will head to into Oriflamme proper and see what awaits us there. But if you're watching this on YouTube, what I would like to tell you to do is that if you liked this video, why don't you leave a like? And if you want to see more things like this, then click the subscribe button as well, which is Latin for I want to see more things like this. The emphasis is weird, but that's Latin for you. And then if you want to be told about when those things come out, click the notification, the bell for notifications, the notification for bells, and all of the above as well. If you want to watch these streams live and watch the disaster take place right as it happens, by all means, go over to my Twitch. Link is also in the channel if you want, and follow me there as well. You're most welcome. But in the meantime, I need to bring this video to a close, and how am I doing that again? It's got to be epic music, hasn't it? Love you, bye!